Hi everyone, my name is Mary Beth. Welcome to my channel. So today we're going to ask, what should we be committed to? What is our soul or our higher self asking us to be committed to at this time? So this will be a good one. What are we supposed to be committed to? Let's find out. Let's ask two cards from this pile. Dear Spirit, what are we supposed to be committed to at this time, as we're a bit confused? What are we supposed to be committed to at this time? What is our commitment to? Okay, that's interesting. We got clinging to the past reversed. So we're committing to not clinging to the past. Okay, that's very self-explanatory. We'll just put that here. Very self-explanatory. What's interesting is guilt. I might have to write this down. So what they're saying is we have some guilt in our energy field, and so we need to commit to really looking at that. Why is that there? It could be very well inner child, it could be very well past life, it could be ancestral, it could be anything. So what is this guilt about? And so one of the things we have to be committed to is trying to figure out what exactly is in our energy field that is causing us guilt. And it might not even be conscious. Okay? Because there's a lot of things in our energy field that isn't conscious. It's way in the subconscious mind. And yet we are projecting what's in our what's in our energy field. So whether or not we're consciously aware of it, it's still being played out because it's in our energy field. So guilt. All right, let's just pull two more. What else should we be committed to? We got courage. Look at that. That flower is growing right through the stone. Whew. Yeah, that just kind of reminds me of one of those lotus flowers that kind of grow through the mud and then, to the sunlight. It's a very hard, tough journey to grow. And then we have fighting reversed. I'm also getting inner fighting and inner war. So it could be that you might be having an inner war with yourself. It could be an outer war. Neither's fun. Both are extremely hard to go through. Trust me, I get it. I know. So when you're fighting, when you're fighting with something, there's really something there that they really want you to look at. It's like an attention grabber. It's like, well, we're trying to get your attention. So, but let's get more information on this. Can we have more clarity on this, please? What are we supposed to be committed to? Let's grab two cards from this deck. I forget what it's called. I think it's like beautiful something. Anyway. All right. Ooh, we got the Sun and we got the Hermit. That's very nice. All right. So we got the number 9 and we got the number 19. So what are we supposed to be committed to? Now, for me, the Sun means the divine masculine, and the divine masculine is fixed, and the divine masculine is light, and the Sun is also joy. Look at her. She's playing, I don't know what instrument this is, but she's having fun. This instrument is bringing her joy. And so that is something we need to be committed to. So it's not something specific like, oh, okay, this physical thing is what you need to be committed to. What they're saying is, no, you need to be committed to finding joy. Not really finding joy, but reaching the vibration of joy. And the way I understand that is to honor yourself and honor others. I kind of go into that and how to honor others in another video, but basically honoring all parts of you, Once you get to that point, woof, there's joy there. And then we got the hermit, because it's very difficult to do that type of work with, on when you're pushing and you're striving, and because this is very divine masculine, this is very divine feminine, so it's almost like divine masculine, divine feminine in a way, because you're going within when you hermit. And so it's almost like what they're saying is, if you commit to doing both, if you commit to finding your joy and you commit to going within to do that inner healing work, okay, that's where the balance is. So introspection and what do they call this card? Clarity. Okay. Clarity. So when you have clarity and introspection, well, look at that. Clarity and introspection. That's very interesting. Yes, because the reason why I even did this reading was because I just thought people were starting to feel confused as to which direction to take, and so decide to ask, well, what should we be committed to? And now they're saying between clarity and introspection, so you got to have both. You got to do both. You got to go within and figure it out, and then you got to have outer clarity. So it's mental and emotional. Well, that could be spiritual too. Interesting. Okay. Let's grab these two. Let's grab this deck. This is the archetype deck. All right, Spirit, what else should we be committed to? What should we be committed to, Spirit? When we're in confusion, what exactly are we looking to be committed? What's the commitment about? What area of life here? What area of life? Interesting. So we got hero reversed. Interesting. Escapism, false sense of heroism. The light would be passion for a journey of personal empowerment. Okay. So what I'm getting from this, because we got the hero reverse, what we're committed to is understanding why we escape, right? Because escapism is very normal. And it's great, right? So let's say you are the hero. Oh yeah, I never escape. Oh yeah, I always climb the mountain. Oh yeah, look at me, I'm the hero, right? And we all kind of do that, right? We're like, yeah, we got this. We're doing it. We don't watch the news. We don't watch television. Whatever it is that you say makes other people escape. But there is something that we all do to escape. It could be overworking. It could be actually working out too much. It could be climbing a mountain. Whatever we do to escape our introspection, whatever we do to stop dealing with the guilt, where we go in and we feel our feelings. Okay? It could be reading a book. It could be watching YouTube. It could be anything. Escapism is just basically when you're feeling uncomfortable, and now this takes you out of the uncomfortableness. And they're saying, be committed to not being the hero. Be committed to really learn what's going on when you're escaping. Really look at that part of you. Okay, it's nice to look at this part of you and say, woohoo, look at me, I'm a hero. But they say, but this is where the real work is, and this is where the real learning is, when you really look at yourself and say, I do notice that when I start to feel uncomfortable, I want to go for a run. I want to go for a jog. It's very healthy. So therefore, I'm a hero. And Spirit is saying, yeah, at the same time, no. At the same time, you're feeling uncomfortable, probably because of this guilt, and it's coming up, and you're feeling super uncomfortable, and you have to kind of look at that. You gotta, and you don't have to, but they suggest to be committed to that. All right, the next one we have is Femme Fatale. Highlights the erotic energy of the feminine. Opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Interesting. So Femme Fatale. So being committed to your own erotic energy of the feminine well, I guess opening your heart, actually kind of opening your heart to yourself. So this is what they're showing me. So it's almost like they're showing me a lady, and it doesn't have to be a lady, it could be a male. Anyway, someone being rejected and someone having their heart kind of break open because they're being rejected, right? Because they were depending on this person, they felt loved by this person, and this person abandons them. So now their heart is completely breaking. And within that broken heart, out comes this compassion and love for themselves. Almost like that Mother Mary, that heart mantle of like a divine mother. So, divine mother, if you picture her giving you a warm hug, okay, that's what they're showing me. And the shadow attribute is inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. Oh, so that's interesting too. So now what they're telling me is, oof, attachment, oof. Okay, yeah, really look into that. Look into why you're attached to things. Like, okay, so if you're attached to money, or if you're attached to power, if you're attached to sexuality, if you're attached to trying to lure people in with your sexuality, and I have no judgment on that, because that is something that has worked for me in the past. Not gonna lie. It's worked when I was younger. I don't know if it would work for me now. Yeah, it'd probably work for me now too. But anyway, using this erotic energy of the feminine is almost like I'm alive type thing. It's not about attachment. It's more like I'm alive. Like erotic is like, woof, I'm just in love with love, or I'm just in love with life, or I'm just in love with, yeah, just myself type thing. And so it's almost like, because we're all kind of birthing our divine feminine here, and having that erotic energy with yourself. That's very interesting. And I know that there's guidance on that out there. So if you feel called to that, there is a how to feel that erotic relationship with yourself. That's very interesting. Uh, Not something that I'm a guru at, not something I could teach, but there are people out there who do. And I think it's very important. And so, yeah, I never thought of something like that, but that's what they're saying. All right, we're going to do one more deck. And we're going to ask, what else are we supposed to be committed to at this time for the collective? For the collective, let's grab two more cards, Spirit. These are other archetype cards. Let's see what comes up with these archetype cards. All right, so the first one, what does this say? Intimate. Oh my gosh, we got it again. Intimate. Yeah, just like it's almost like having an intimate relationship with the divine. So being committed. So that's what they're telling me. They're telling me a devotion. It's like a devotion to spirit. It's a devotion to the divine. But it's more than that. It's an intimacy with God, an intimacy with spirit, like having that commitment. That's gorgeous energy right there. Gorgeous. Okay, and then this one is warrior. Interesting. Being committed to being a warrior. I love that. And so warrior spirit, and it is what they're telling me. What this is that you are not backing down. You know why you're here. You're not giving up. You're persevering. Even when you get confused, you're not going to sit back down and you're allowed to cry, they're telling me. You're allowed to whine. That's okay. But you know what? You're going to get back up, and you are going to have that warrior spirit where you know why you're here, what the journey is for, what this is about. Have the courage. Have the courage to keep going. Have that like empowerment. What else are you telling me about this spirit? When it comes to the warrior, yeah, what they're saying is what you do is for the highest good of everyone. The warrior spirit is working, not working. It the warrior spirit is here for everyone. It's for the highest good of everyone, not just him or herself. But they're here to empower themselves and others, is what I'm getting. So, a passion and a commitment for intimacy with the divine, as well as in the human world, persevering, because obviously the soul has given each human being some sort of situation that is like the tower moment. It could be chaotic, it could be hard, it could be harsh, like really harsh conditions, like a tornado hitting your house or something. And they're saying be the warrior, have an intimate relationship with the divine, okay? Which is kind of like this, having a beautiful, loving relationship with yourself. Don't cling to the past, right? We're not here to fight with ourselves. You know, when it comes to this card, this again could be an inner war. It doesn't have to be with anyone outside of yourself. It could be within yourself. It could be between your divine feminine, divine masculine, literally having an inner war. I can speak about that. I'm I'm well versed in that experience. And then look, we got the courage card here, right? We were just saying, you know, being the warrior. And so when something very chaotic happens, understanding that that's where your commitment is. Oof. So they didn't give me anything specific, right? They didn't say in your job or in your love life. This is definitely more spiritual, I would say. I would say overall, this is a spiritual commitment that you've made. So if this resonates with you, this is your reading. I'm just gonna pull, I'm being drawn to this deck, so I'm just gonna pull one more card. Any other, anything else you want to say about this commitment spirit? What should we be committed to? Actually, they're saying two cards. We're gonna pull two more cards. What should we be committed to? What is this commitment about, spirit? Two cards. Two cards. What is the commitment? Two cards. Okay. Honesty, to be truthful, sincere, and frank. That's interesting because it's really also about what is your truth versus illusion. You know, you have to be honest with yourself, and that's so hard when you're conditioned. It's really hard for some people. Some people like me, it's very hard to, yeah, to really be honest with yourself, because you're always willing to not be honest with yourself to please others or to feel comfortable, to get out of that uncomfortableness, right? And then we have activism, to work vigorously toward political or social change. So that's interesting. So some sort of activism. So what they're telling me is that when it comes to this, it's like a community thing, right? Where so what they're telling me is it's like you're committed to something when it comes to social change. You're committed to community in some way. Like it doesn't have to be, because I guess when you look at this card, you automatically think political, but they're saying no, that's not what they're just saying in general. If there's a particular community, so let's say you work with a community where you work with people with disabilities. Okay, let's just put that out there. You work with a group of people, you work with a community, and you help people with disabilities. Okay, and so be committed to that. Be committed to that social change of helping people with disabilities. So that this is what this is saying. Because they told me right off the bat, don't make this political. I mean, it can be if you want it to be, but they're just saying no. This is more about you're out in the community, so this is more the physical, right? Because you got the introspection, this you got your inner world, you got your, having your intimacy with the divine, but in the outer world, you're also committed to whatever social change, whatever that might be for you, whatever population that you work with, and you just want to help them in some way. So anyway, that's all I have. So I do hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.